Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Cybersecurity Analyst pathway. My name is Sam, and I am here to guide you as your mentor for the DTSP program. Today's topic is K46, Principles of Quantitative and Qualitative Risk Management Theory, including the role of risk stakeholders. This is the why behind everything we do in security. The core concept here is translation. It is the vital ability to translate highly technical vulnerabilities into the universal language of business impact and financial loss. Let us use an analogy. A doctor does not just hand you a list of your symptoms and walk away. They calculate the severe risk to your overall health and use that data to justify the cost of the cure. As a cyber professional, you must diagnose the risk to justify the security controls. Our goal today is to master the two distinct languages of risk. You will learn how to use both qualitative and quantitative theory to make smart, defensible decisions alongside your business stakeholders. Let us use my scaffold and ascend method to break down this core task. This knowledge point demands that you master how we evaluate, calculate, and communicate cyber threats. First, quantitative risk management is all about the numbers. It involves using hard, objective financial data and mathematical formulas to calculate exactly how much a potential breach will cost the company in pounds and pence. Second, qualitative risk management relies on scenarios. It uses subjective, expert judgments, like rating a risk as high, medium, or low, to rapidly triage threats without needing months of financial data analysis. Risk management theory refers to the globally established frameworks we use to systematically identify, assess, and treat danger, ensuring we do not just rely on gut feelings. Finally, risk stakeholders reminds us that cyber professionals do not own the business risk. The business leaders and department heads own the risk, and they must make the final decision on how to handle it. Why is mastering risk theory so critical for your career? Because the ultimate problem in cybersecurity is that businesses have limited budgets. It is physically and financially impossible to patch every single vulnerability. This leads to a massive trap. If you run to the board demanding a £50,000 security tool to fix a vulnerability that would only cost the business £10,000 if exploited, you completely destroy your professional credibility. The solution is risk management. Applying these theories tells you exactly where to focus your limited time and money to achieve the maximum protective impact for the organization. You must remember the business language. Executive boards do not speak malware, 0 days, or buffer overflows. They speak the language of revenue loss, operational downtime, and reputational damage. This is your greatest value. By translating technical flaws into business risks, you transition from being seen as a technical alarmist into a trusted, strategic advisor. Let us look at the first language, qualitative risk theory. Your goal here is to rapidly triage and prioritize a large number of threats using scenarios and expert human judgment. The foundational formula for all qualitative risk is simple: risk equals likelihood multiplied by impact. You evaluate these two factors to determine the overall threat level. Likelihood is an estimation of probability. You ask, how likely is it that a hacker will actually find and exploit this specific vulnerability within the next year? We might rate this as rare, possible, or certain. Impact measures the severity of the damage. You ask, if they do exploit it, how badly will it hurt the business? We rate this as minor, moderate, or catastrophic. You plot these two ratings on the risk matrix. This is a visual grid that uses a traffic light color system, red, amber, green, to give stakeholders immediate, visual clarity on which fires need putting out first. While qualitative is fast, sometimes you need hard numbers. The goal of quantitative risk theory is to calculate the exact financial risk to build a concrete, unarguable business case for security spending. We start with the single loss expectancy, or SLE. You calculate exactly how much money the business loses in one single incident. If a server crashes for an hour, it might cost £10,000 in lost sales. Next, we calculate the annualized rate of occurrence, or ARO. You look at historical data to determine how many times a year this specific incident is expected to happen. Let us say it happens 10 times a year. You multiply these together to find the annualized loss expectancy, or ALE. £10,000 multiplied by 10 occurrences gives an ALE of £100,000. That is your total yearly risk. The application of this math is incredibly powerful. If your ALE is £100,000, you can easily convince the board that spending £20,000 on a new firewall is a mathematically sound investment. We must now discuss the human element. The profound reality of cybersecurity is that while you, the analyst, identify and calculate the risk, you do not own it. The business stakeholders own the risk. The primary stakeholder is the risk owner. This is usually a department head, like the head of HR. If the HR database is breached, the head of HR is ultimately accountable for that asset, not the IT department. You also have data owners. These are the executives legally responsible for the classification of data. They determine what is highly confidential versus what is public, which dictates the security controls you must apply. Above them sits the executive board. They define the company's risk appetite, exactly how much danger the organization is willing to tolerate to achieve its business goals. Your role is facilitation. You must communicate the technical risks so clearly that these non-technical stakeholders genuinely understand what they're agreeing to when they sign a risk acceptance form. Once you have presented the ALE or the risk matrix to the stakeholders, a decision must be made. The business must choose one of 4 formal risk treatment strategies. The most common is to mitigate. This means applying security controls, like installing a firewall or enforcing encryption, to actively reduce the likelihood or impact of the threat. The second option is to transfer. If the risk is too large to mitigate completely, the business shifts the financial burden to a third party, typically by purchasing comprehensive cyber insurance. The third option is to avoid. If a legacy server is so insecure that no control can save it, the business may choose to shut it down entirely, stopping the risky activity at the source. The final option is to accept. If fixing a £5,000 risk requires a £50,000 software upgrade, the stakeholder will formally sign a document acknowledging the danger and choosing to do nothing. For your portfolio, K46 provides incredible evidence of your strategic maturity. Structure your entry using the STARR method. Situation: the business proposed migrating highly sensitive customer data to a new, untested cloud vendor to save money. Task: my task was to conduct a comprehensive risk assessment using both quantitative and qualitative theory and present it to the risk stakeholders. Action: I developed a 5x5 qualitative risk matrix to visualize the immediate threats. I then performed a quantitative analysis, calculating the annualized loss expectancy, ALE, of a potential data breach on this new platform. Result: when the executive board saw the massive financial ALE, they rejected the accept strategy and chose to mitigate by mandating advanced, costly encryption controls before the migration. Reflection: I learned that translating obscure cyber threats into clear financial and visual models is the only way to empower non-technical stakeholders to make safe business decisions. When compiling your major project, K46 is the absolute foundation of your design. You must include a dedicated cybersecurity risk assessment chapter. You must provide qualitative evidence. Do not just list risks in text. Insert a colorful 5x5 risk matrix directly into the report, plotting at least 3 major threats to your proposed system. You must provide quantitative evidence. Take your most severe threat and show the assessor the math. Write out the SLE, the ARO, and the final ALE calculation. Furthermore, include stakeholder mapping. Explicitly name the business role, such as the head of finance or operations manager, who acts as the risk owner for the system you are architecting. Why is this mandatory? Because it proves to the EPA assessor that your security architectures are not arbitrary, they are strictly driven by justified, calculated business risk. To conclude today's session, the vital takeaway is that cybersecurity is fundamentally a business discipline, not just an IT function. You cannot protect an organization if you do not speak the language of risk. Your toolkit is now highly strategic. You understand when to use qualitative matrices for rapid triage and when to deploy quantitative math to justify large budgets. You have established your authority. You no longer just report bugs, you actively guide stakeholders through the difficult decisions to mitigate, transfer, avoid, or accept the danger. The ultimate outcome of mastering K46 is that you ensure the business spends its limited security budget exactly where it matters most, achieving maximum resilience. Your next practical step is to take 10 minutes today to calculate the SLE, ARO, and ALE for a very simple scenario, a company laptop being stolen from a train. Test the math yourself. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you now feel more confident in mastering this topic. If you found value in this session, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and follow our channel. It really means a lot to me and helps the algorithm show these lessons to other apprentices, just like you, who need support. Don't forget, you can download today's slides and the full transcript at www.mentorinai.com, EPAHUB. While you are there, check out our mock interview and portfolio review services to make sure you are fully ready for your EPA. See you in the next video. Keep learning.